Hi, welcome to the Sales Strategies for Christian Coaches podcast. I'm Justin Janowski, your host, and I started my Christian coaching business in December of 2018, just hoping to make it. I remember having that goal of 60,000 the first year and hoping I could provide for my family and stay in business. God had much bigger plans, and I produced over $250,000 in revenue that first year in business. And I've been helping other Christian coaches accomplish their entrepreneurial dreams ever since. And that's what this podcast is about. It's about helping you design your business, your pricing, your offers, your sales and marketing strategies, and learning how to do it in a high integrity way that works for you, honors God, and honors your prospects. Thanks for tuning into today's episode. Today, I want to answer a question that I get asked regularly, which is this: how long should a coaching program be? Or how long should my coaching program be? And so when we're thinking about structuring an offer, of course, you need to design, is the program one-on-one? Are you having group calls? Is it a combination of the two? Are there live events or other aspects to your offering? Make sure that you design something that you love. But then let's imagine you're doing one-on-one and or group. The question becomes, how long should the program be? And I want to talk about the 4 different common lengths of program so that you can find the one that feels best for your signature offer. And then I want to talk about 5 things that you might consider when deciding how long you want your program to be. So here we go. Let's dive into it. The most common lengths of program design are 3 months, or people oftentimes call it a 12-week program. Number 2 is a 6-month program. The third is a 12-month program. And then finally, the fourth is a membership program. So you can do a short, help people get a quick win, 3-month program. And that's really what that design is for. If you're thinking about what is the 3-month program or the 12-week program, it's one in which you believe you can help people get a really quick and meaningful win. The second idea, hold on, I just thought of something important. I'm gonna make a little note for myself. But we want to help them get a quick win. The second is a 6-month program. 6 months to me is a program design where we can help people create lasting change. And so when we think about 6 months, maybe there's a bigger outcome you want to help people achieve than the 3-month program could achieve. And or you recognize that when you help people solve the problem that you solve or experience the transformation that your coaching creates, maybe you recognize that people need to fall off once or twice and then get back on. An example of this would be a health and fitness program. Oftentimes people can get really great results in the first month or 2 months or 3 months in a health and fitness program. But we know that the cycle of this for most people who struggle with their health and fitness, and I've been there, is that people get some results and then there's kind of this yo-yo effect and they kind of fall back to their old patterns. And so that's maybe the drawback of a short 3-month or 12-week program, is that many people are going to fall back to the old patterns. A 6-month program allows you to be there for them when they experience adversity, when they start to fall back on old patterns and habits, that you can bring them right back into the transformation that you've been creating for them. You can be there for them in that season of time. And so I like 6 months for that reason. 12 months is going to have an even greater effect of that. Much more likely to achieve lasting change if we work with a client over 12 months. Additionally, like, people like to plan things in years. This is, of course, going to be a great program length for a big outcome you want to deliver for people. And then the final is membership. And membership doesn't have a start and an end date for people. Membership is about having a program that's month to month. And month to month would mean that people can start and stop anytime they want. Meaning that some of your clients are going to be in for 1 month or 2 months or 3 months in your program. Some are going to be in 5 or 6 or 7. Some are going to be in for a year. Some are going to be with you for 3 years. The membership model is great for long-term building of your monthly recurring revenue so that you can have a revenue floor for your business. But the risk of it, of course, is that somebody who should have been in a 6 or 12-month program might be out after 3 or 4 or 5 months before they've experienced the full transformation. Most memberships are a little bit lower in price than the other options on a monthly basis, but that's not always true. So these are the different kinds. 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and membership. Now, when you're considering your signature offer, it's possible that at some point you'll have 2 or 3 of these options in mind. If you're new, you might just start with one signature offer. Here are the things I want you to consider, the 5 things to consider when deciding how long you want your program to be. The first one, and these aren't really in order of priority, they're just the order I jotted them down, but the first one is sales cycles. So I want you to consider sales cycles in this way. If you have a 3, 6, or 12-month program, let's say you had a 6-month program and you were launching it and you wanted everybody to go through as a cohort, go through that 6-month program together and have week 1 be week 1 for everybody and the final of the 6 months be the final week for everybody so that they're going through it together. What people oftentimes do when they sell a 3, 6, or 12-month program is they have that hard launch and start date and that hard stop date. And the nice thing about that is everybody's on the same page. Everyone's having a shared experience. There's value in that. The challenge of this for most people is the sales cycle. For most people, they work hard to try to sell and launch this program by a specific date. And then they focus on client service for several months and they don't continue the sales efforts. And then it's when the next program's about to begin that they begin selling again. And oftentimes what this creates is a heightened level of anxiety for many coaches in the early days of selling because there's this deadline on the calendar. Now, for some people, know yourself, that deadline of the launch date on the calendar actually gives you the urgency to take massive action and to get great results. And so that can be really good for you. And for other people, this is going to create procrastination. And it's going to create anxiety. And it's going to make like a difficult situation where maybe you're running into your program's about to start and you have only 1 client sold or 2 clients sold or 3 clients sold and you wanted to have 6 or 8 or 12. And people oftentimes come to me and say, oh, Justin, I was planning to launch this thing, but I only made 1 sale or 2 sales. Should I still launch it? And that's the challenge of having a very specific start date and end date is that cohort would be launched with whatever size it is, and you wouldn't have your next cohort start for several months. Most people find that they have a difficult time remaining in consistent sales cycles when they're running that kind of model with a start and end date. And so they typically don't do anything for a few months in sales. And then when they're starting to sell again for the next cohort, they feel like they're starting over from scratch. They don't have any momentum with their prospecting. They don't have any momentum with referrals. They don't have any momentum with their sales skill set. And those rhythms can feel difficult to start from the ground again. So if you are going to have a 3, 6, or 12-month program, one thing I'd ask you to consider is, could it be a program that is running all the time and that instead of having cohorts allows people to join at any point? So for example, if you have a 12-month program, could your 12-month program have, if it was a training program, 12 lessons? Which would mean that you could run 12 or 13 lessons. You could run every lesson in your program 4 times a year. Those 12 or 13 lessons. Repetition is the key to mastery. So if you're with your most ideal client, they're going to want to learn the same strategies around health and fitness, the same strategies around marriage, the same strategies around business again and again. They're going to need to, in fact, learn those same strategies to implement at the highest level and get the greatest result. So great for you to have a program that repeats the lessons 2 to 4 times a year, let's say, so that people who are in this annual membership get every lesson 4 times, or in a 6-month membership, they get every lesson twice. And if you are, or a 6-month program, not membership, 12-month program, they get every lesson 2 to 4 times. But could you design the lessons in such a way that they would be like a sitcom? And I want you to hear me out on this. I think that our program could be designed like a drama. You know, when you watch a great drama television show, you have to watch every episode in order to understand the characters, to understand the backstories, to get all the twists and turns and to know what's going on. It's hard to pick up an exceptionally dramatized television program in season 2, episode 4. You want to go back to the beginning and watch every single episode. That's like a cohort model. But a sitcom, something like Friends or The Office is a kind of thing that you can tune into any episode at any time and laugh and enjoy it and get it. And you really don't need a whole lot of backstory to just jump right into the sitcom and enjoy what you're getting and get value from every single episode on its own. So in a sitcom, you can jump to episode 3 in season 4 and have seen nothing else and still laugh and enjoy it. And you might catch up on the show later. So the sitcom version of your 6 or 12-month program, let's say the 12-month program for this example, the sitcom version of it, every single episode, every single class that you teach has standalone value. And while you might have a proper order that those 12 lessons go in, people can show up during any single lesson and learn and get value and just pick up where everybody else is. So if you're a health and fitness coach, the idea would be that people don't need to have nutrition first, even if you think that's most ideal. They could start on the class about hydration, or they could start on the class about exercise, or they could start in the class about sleep, and know that in 12 weeks, they would get every single episode. They'd get every single class in 12 weeks, just like anybody else would. They'd just be consuming them in a different order, and that would be okay. Same thing with like a relationship coach. If you want to talk about their relationship with God first, and then you want to move to their relationship with themselves and their self-care, then you want to move to their relationship with their spouse, then you want to move to parenting, and then you want to finish with friendship relationships. Well, these lessons could be consumed in a different order. If people started with friendship and then went to God, they would still get value from each of those episodes, and they would still build upon each other. Same thing would be true for business. This is how we run sales school. We allow people to just come in any episode that we're in, any training that we're on. And we know that every single training on its own is valuable, and that people will get every single training if they stay in the program long enough. So I like 3, 6, and 12-month programs that don't have start and end dates, that are in cohort form. I like them to be start and end dates maybe for each person. Like, okay, your 12-month clock starts now, or your 6-month clock starts now. But everybody's on a different clock. The other thing I like about this with the sales cycle of it is that you're not losing all your clients at one time. What some people will do is they'll have a 6-month cohort, they'll make 8 sales and have 8 clients, and they'll be receiving monthly income because people are doing a 6 pay for the program. But then when that 6 months ends, everybody leaves, they've got 0 clients, and they're starting from scratch, and they feel like they're building a brand new business. And if those 8 clients were all starting at different points, then you wouldn't ever lose all your clients at one time, and it'd be easier to consistently keep clients. I also think renewal is a little bit easier when a lot of the people that they love hanging out with are continuing on in your program and are in the middle of the program, rather than everybody being at the end at the same time. So the final thing about this from a sales cycle standpoint is, if you run your program like a sitcom instead of a drama, then somebody can buy any week of the year and immediately join the next week's class or the next week's group calls. So that allows consistency in the sales cycle, is that you can have consistent sales efforts every single week of the year. And when somebody joins, you can say, awesome, your first call is going to be next week. And you can invite them in right away. Of course, you can record all of the group calls. So if they want to go back and watch lessons 1, 2, and 3, if they're joining on lesson 4, they could do that self-study. So that's the first thing to consider, is the sales cycles. Now, a membership, of course, is already naturally designed that way, where it is a month-to-month program, and the expectations that people will join immediately when they join the membership. They'll join the group calls or the one-on-one and whatever is going on, and they don't need to have a specific start date that's aligned with anyone else. The second thing to consider when you decide between 3 months, 6 months, 12 months in membership is your financial goals. Your financial goals for your business. If you have the idea that you want to have a little lifestyle business and your earnings are not necessarily needed to provide for your family, this is a side hustle, this is something extra, and earning $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month would mean so much to you, then having a small, simple, light 3-month or 12-week program could be really valuable. Having a low ticket, low priced membership program could be really valuable, because you get to provide for people. You get to have a simple offering. You get to help people get a quick win, and you earn a little bit extra money. So that's totally fine. If you've got much bigger goals than that, though, if you want to earn 50,000 or 100,000 or 200,000 or more in your coaching business, then I recommend that you probably consider something like a 12-month membership, or at least a 6-month membership, where the price point and the commitment from the client standpoint is going to be higher. Your delivery of the outcomes for those clients is going to be stronger. The testimonials are going to be better. If you have a 6 or 12-month program, obviously a 6-month program is on average going to cost twice as much as a 3-month program. A 12-month program is going to cost 4 times as much as a 3-month program and twice as much as a 6-month program. And so it allows you to create a win-win between you and your clients, where you're providing the highest level of value to them, the greatest transformation and outcome delivery over 12 months, and it provides the greatest amount of income for you, so you have to make fewer sales overall. A 12-month program absolutely can be $5, $10, $15, $20,000. And so if you want to earn $100,000, then designing something that's amazing, that's a full year of delivery, that is in the $5,000 to $20,000 range, so you only have to make 5 to 20 sales to achieve your goal, is probably most ideal. And so if you're in that ballpark, that range, I would consider a 12-month program. The third thing to consider after sales cycles and your financial goals is sustainability and continuity. What I mean by this is, if you're designing a coaching program, remember that you're the one who's going to be in this program every single week for month after month and year after year when it has success. So make sure that you design something that you love, that feels light and sustainable for you. And also, you might consider continuity of income. That's what a membership program can provide, is consistency in your income, or continuity, that recurring revenue. So there's something valuable about a membership or even a 12-month program where people are paying every month, because you can create more of a stable income experience with either a long program or a membership. Whereas the shorter programs, 3 or 6 months, has a lot more turnover in your clients. You have to make a lot more new sales to continue to sustain a certain income level. But you also want to think about, like, what feels fun for you. What do you think that you can do month after month, year after year, that you would really enjoy? For me, I love having Sales School and our Christian Coaches Academy as memberships, because they're primarily group-oriented programs. And so I'm holding 3 hours of group calls every single week, and that's just my job. That's part of my weekly structure. When I'm traveling or need to take care of my family or something like that, I will have somebody else lead those calls as a guest leader. But for me, providing the service of those programs feels light, easy, and sustainable. It feels fun for me. I like building the income floor of having those memberships. But from a financial goal standpoint, we also have offers between $10,000 and $15,000, because that provides for the income needs of the company. Okay. Fourth, I want you to consider your clients' outcomes. Again, this is not an order of priority. These are all super important to consider when designing your offer length, but consider their outcomes. If you're a health and fitness coach and you're telling people that you're going to help them lose 30 pounds, your program better not be 3 months, because that's probably too fast and an unhealthy progression for your clients. If you're going to help people lose 30 pounds, that should probably be a 6-month program or a 12-month program, right? We need enough time to deliver on the outcome. If you're going to help people launch their business or write and publish their book, and you know that that's going to take 3 months or 6 months, then you can design the program to fit that launch time. If you're helping people go through a bigger transformation in their marriage and their relationship, think about how long do people need to create lasting change in your program, and then you might design based on that. And then the final thing I want you to consider is, what feels good for you now? What feels good for you now? So I kind of talked about best practices and reasons why I like certain lengths of programs. And you're probably getting a little bit of like what I prefer, which is that 12-month program or a membership. Like, I like those models best for me. But just because something is best or is industry standard doesn't mean it's for you. You have to feel confident that you can make that offer. You have to feel confident you can deliver the offer. So even if you're like, Justin, I like that idea of the 12-month program, I know that's best for me, but it feels too big and scary in this phase I'm in as a brand new coach, you have 2 choices. You can either work on overcoming that mindset challenge and that block that you have right now that thinks that you can't do it, And there are ways to overcome that. We'd love to help you overcome that or introduce you to friends of ours who can help you overcome that mindset block so that you can build the program that you feel like is best for you, even if it feels scary. Sometimes we just need to do it scared. Or the other option is you can work up to that. And so it's totally reasonable if you're a brand new coach for you to say, okay, I'm going to launch a 3-month program because that's the program I can say out loud. That's the program I can feel confident delivering. That's the price point that I'm willing to say and invite people to with my first few clients and my first few sales. Then go ahead and do that. Absolutely. But a final thing I want you to consider is, what is your customer or client journey? If you've got that short 3-month program, let's say, do you want to be done working with those clients at the end of 3 months? Or if you have a 6-month program or a 12-month program, do you want your work with them to be complete? Or is there something else? Does your 6-month program offer a membership at the very end of it for people who want to continue the work? Does your 3-month program offer a 12-month offering at the end of the 3 months? Like, hey, you've launched your business. Now consider joining our 12-month sustainability mastermind, where we help people engage in the weekly activities that are going to lead to the success that they're looking for in their business. So that thing is important to consider. Like, are there levels and what's the customer journey? So fine with you, like starting with a 3-month program or starting with a low price membership or whatever you feel confident and comfortable to deliver right now. I would encourage you to stretch yourself and know that sometimes we just need to do it scared. And I'd also love for you to consider, what's the customer journey you want? How long do you want to support people? And what would they do at the end of this program that you initially designed? Is there a next step or not? These are, I know I'm giving you more questions than answers probably today, but I really want you to sit with this. And I want you to consider what's best for you, what's best for your clients, what feels right in this season for you in this phase of business, because this is your offer. It doesn't have to be like anyone else's. This has never existed before in the history of the world. Your coaching offer, your signature offer with your clients, solving your problems in your way with your voice. It's something totally original and new, and it deserves the time and the thoughtfulness to design it well. I hope this has been helpful. If you'd like more support in figuring out how can I take this idea, this design of my offer, and actually begin to turn that into sales and paying clients, I want to invite you to a free training we're running right now, which is landcoachingclients.com. We're doing a free 90-minute training each week right now. You can go to www.landcoachingclients.com and join our next free masterclass to help you land more coaching clients. It would be a joy to serve you in that way. Thank you for listening to the podcast. God bless you and have an amazing week. Cheers.